All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by saying Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shai, Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shai, Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shai, Kol Haloyim, La Abanawa, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Arakal Kodash, double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and well. Peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect, the Bayath, Dawadah, the House of David. Now I have this article here, and we're just going to go right into it, man. This is from U.S. Today. This is after researchers implanted microchips into his brain, a paralyzed man was able to write with his mind. So, listen, this is the time we living in right here, man. This is the elite's plans. And when I say the elites, I'm talking about the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Oppenheimers, the DuPonts, the Gettys. What they want is a one world government, a new world order. These are their plans, man. All right. Totalitarianism, right? Takeover, pretty much enslaving the world to be amongst one world government, all right, amongst that Luciferian doctrine, which Luciferian means light bearer, all right, on the left-hand side, so to speak, okay. They want to try to cut off everything else that, or whatever you believe, they seem to want to cut that off or exclude that, so to speak. All right, so let's go down here and let's read some of this. It says researchers used artificial intelligence software and brain-computer interface to help this man communicate by text. A man who lost all movement below his neck after a spinal cord injury in 2007 was finally able to write again with his mind. It says Stanford University researchers used artificial intelligence, right, AI, software, and a brain-computer interface to help this man with his immobility. All right, his immobilized limbs to communicate by text, according to study published Wednesday in the peer-reviewed journal Nature. Says Dr. Jamie Henderson, professor of neurosurgery at Stanford, implanted 2 microchips the size of a baby aspirin, about 1 millimeter into this man's brain in 2017. The chips have electrodes and recorded neurons in the motor cortex. It says the part of the brain that controls hand movement. When the man imagined he was using his hand to write on a notepad, the computer converted his thoughts into text on a computer screen. It says this approach allowed a person with Paralyzed to compose sentences to speeds. All right. It says nearly comparable to those of the able-bodied adults of the same age typing on a smartphone, Henderson said. The goal is to restore the ability to communicate by text. It says the man referred to the study only was T5, as T5 text at a rate of about 18 words per minute. A person of the same age with full use of his hands can text an average of 23 words per minute on a smartphone. His error rate was about 1 mistake every 18 or 19 attempt characters. It says when researchers used an autocorrect function similar to most smartphones, error rates plummeted below 1% when he was asked to copy text and slightly more than 2% when he was asked to write something original. It's exciting to improve the speed of those kinds of devices to approach a level where I think it could be very useful for someone who's severely paralyzed, said Dr. Frank Willett. All right. Says study author and neuroscientist at Stanford. It is capable to writing. It's comparable to writing on a notepad or typing on a smartphone. Study authors are excited not only about the breakthrough technology, but about what their discovery means for future research. You see, this, it says, until now, scientists weren't sure how long a person could retain motor skills without putting them into practice. It says, we had no idea someone who had never moved his hands for 10 years, if he's asked to write, what his brain would do, Willett said. It shows those fine dictatorial movements All right. It says still invoke rich patterns of brain activity that we can use. Researchers hope that the technology could be adapted to allow people who can't talk and to simulate conversation through writing. While handwriting can approach 20 words per minute, we tend to speak about 125 words per minute. And this is another exciting direction that complements handwriting, right? That complements handwriting. It said Krishna Sonoy, professor of electronical engineering at Stanford University, says more work needs to be done before the study results can be successfully transferred into real-world applications such as a tablet, smartphone, or computer. It says the immediate next step would be refraining and streamlining the algorithm so it is easier to get up and running quickly. Well, it said every brain is unique and you get different neurons that do different things. So there's always calibration. All right, so that's it on the article right there, man. So pretty much, as you can see, what they're doing here is they're putting chips into his brain, chips into people's brains who are paralyzed, and bringing them back to this is what you call nothing but left-hand technology, man. Artificial technology. This is what you call wicked. All right, now the elites have a plan of putting a brain in people's chips, a brain in people's hands, total control, man. Now, what does that entail of? Right now, simulating putting cash on your chip. All right, knowing your thoughts, which basically is tracking, man, a tracking device. That's pretty much what this thing is all about, man. It's pretty much a tracking device. So let's go into the scriptures, man. Let's go into the scriptures and let's see what the scriptures say. Revelation 3, and let's start up here at verse. Let's start right here. Let's start at verse 3. It says, "Remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast and repent." It's talking about the word. "If therefore thou shalt not watch," right? So you have to be a watchman, and that's what we are. We're watchmen, man. We check out everything that goes on in the news, everything that's going on around the world. There's a lot going on around the world right now, so to speak, man. All right, there's so much going on to where it's like, yo, you try to report it all, but that's why we have a brotherhood to where each different brother bring out a different article, man, or a different thing about what's going on in the news, man, about what's going on in this world. It says, "I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee." All right. So it says, verse 5, it says, "He that overcome, the same shall be clothed in white raiment, and I will not blot out his name out of the book of life." Hey, this is where it comes in with doing your job. All right, always on the watch, always on the go. "But I will confess his name before my Father and before his angels." All right. It says, let's go down here. Let's go to verse 10 now. Revelation chapter 3 and verse 10, it says, "Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation." So what is the hour of temptation? The hour of temptation is that RFID microchip, that mark of the beast, man. All right, the mark of the beast. You see, that's what these devils, the elites, that's what they want to push, man. This is their whole thing. Now, as you see going on with that jab, they offering people French fries and burgers and things. Just ridiculousness, man. Ridiculousness. Right? You take the jab, okay, because there's a reason why they want you to take the jab. All right? And we know the reason. I don't want to speak on it, but I know the reason. You know? Keep the population under 500 million people. All right? That's all I'm going to say. Georgia Guidestones. You can go and do all that research for yourself if you would like. Pretty much that's in the minds of the elites, right? cut the population down to size to keep a certain amount of slaves. All right. It says, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Now, that's talking about this RFID microchip, man. This mark of the beast, man. Everybody going to get tried by this thing. Test it out. All right. You see? And they doing it in a form of now with the jab. All right. So if the people is willing to take the jab, what are they willing to do when we offer them this mark of the beast? How are they willing to respond to that? If they're willing to respond to this, all right, the mask, break down their immune system. Let's destroy their immune systems. Let's do all of these things of that nature, man. You know. Okay. You see, now let's go to Revelation 13. Revelation 13, man. Let's read Revelation 13. Let's start at let's start at 15. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak. And how they speak? Through their legislation. That's how it's speaking. Legislation being passed off in a secretly, Department of Health Services, so to speak, DHS or whatever you want to call it. All right, they have all types of things written and legislation passing through to where nobody understands the legislation. They just sign it off, pass it through. Now Obama was doing the same thing. Go back to his term. He was passing off legislation according to this microchip, to this RFID microchip, to this mark of the beast. All right. And a lot of people don't know, but that's what was going on. And that's going on in Joe Biden's era right now. All right. This thing is, they're getting ready to bring this thing down on everybody's pate, man. And when I mean pate, I mean your head. All right. See, things are about to ramp up real fast. Okay, real fast. Technology is advanced so much. All right. It's advanced so much where everything is wireless. Why do you think they set up the 5G networks and going on and trying to set up maybe the 6G networks to keep the radiation faster and more mobility, movement fast? You know, everything is fast. What is it? What is that? What is that for the Internet of Things? Right, everything is connected to one another. All right, and as you can see, you got stores opening to where you can go, and everything is cashless. Everything is cashless, man. Overseas and different places like that, everything is cashless. All right, so let's continue to read on. It says that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Right, so those that don't bow down to the image of the beast, all right, or worship this beast, will be killed. Concentration camps, things of that nature, man. Haul you off there, put you to death. All right, and then they got these torture rooms in there, right? They're gonna torture you to death until you crack, until you eventually say, you know what, I'll take it. You know, make you denounce the names of your powers that you believe in. All right. Now, verse 16. It says, and he calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. So those that are locked up, those that are free, those that are poor, and those that are rich. Now the elites are not going to take this chip. They're not going to take this mark of the beast, man. They're going to be the controlees. All right, the poor have no choice, because why? They're going to say, well, we want to eat. We want to eat. We want this. We want that. And they're going to say, well, listen here, take this chip. The bond, those who are locked up in prison, in jail, they're going to want to get out. So it was a good way for Esau to come in and swoop in and say, you know what, listen, hey, man, listen, you take this chip, you know, you take this thing here, you know, you can get an early release, man. You get an early release today. We'll set all the paperwork up, and you ain't got to worry about nothing. You see, these are ways that Esau speaks. He speaks with a fourth tongue. Real slick, real sly. He's a snake, you know. It says to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, right? That no man might buy or sell, because cash is going to become obsolete. All right. Cash is going to become obsolete. They're going to do away with that, man. Henceforth, when this so-called thing came around, and the brothers know what I'm saying when I say the thing, when the thing came around, all right, what do you think that the banks was doing? The banks was depleting money. They wasn't creating money. All right, coin shortage, and all of these things of that nature. What you think that was all about, man? What you think that was all about? Credit cards. What you think those are all about? What you think cards are all about? Venmo Pay, Cash App, all these things of that nature. Getting people used to being cashless, and so on and so forth, man. And then eventually they're going to take away the cards. All right? The cards are going to go away. And then everything is just going to be done by hand-to-hand technology. All right? It says, my buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name, right? That 666 mark. That 666 mark, which is encased in that silicate glass, right, with 3 long barcodes as the universal product code on every piece of item that you go and buy in every store. All right, that's going to be encased in that silicate glass of the size of a grain of rice. Verse number 18, it says, here is wisdom, let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666, right, in perfection. Because a man is in perfection. This man is of imperfection, right? 777 is of perfection, but this man is of imperfection, wickedness on the left-hand side. All right. So I figure, I'll bring that article out, brothers. Brothers can go and check it out if you want. But with that, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Arakah, Kodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone and rule well. Peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect, the Bayath, the Wadah, the house of David, Shalom, Baba Ball.